When I think about the Surgeon General of the United States, I remember the 1964 Surgeon General report about smoking. And that began the entire idea that smoking was bad for you. Now, we had known this for some time, but it was the Surgeon General report of 64 that was the bully pulpit that said to America, we need to stop smoking. It causes heart disease, it causes cancer, the epidemiology was clear, stop smoking. Or I think of C. Everett Koop, the Surgeon General who was that prestigious surgeon out of Philadelphia who led us through the HIV crisis and helped us to establish the idea of smoking leading to other problems. These were giants in the field. Now we have Casey Means nominated for that position. So does Casey Means have a major academic affiliation? Well, she did graduate from Stanford Medical School, but after that it ends. She never finished a surgical residency. In fact, 6 months before her ENT residency was to end, she resigned. Now, she says it's because, well, she didn't like the sick medicine thing and she wanted to resign to sell supplements to the world. As a former surgical residency director, when you have to have someone resign before the end of their career, it's because we asked them to because we didn't want to throw them out on the public. Unfortunately, she's on the public now in the worst way. But there's probably some no disclosure clause keeping you from knowing why they didn't want her to finish an ENT residency or why she resigned. She has never published a major publication at all. You look at someone like C. Everett Koop, he had over 200 peer-reviewed publications. Even the current guy, Vic Murthy, he has done dozens of peer-reviewed publications. He's on the faculty at the Harvard Medical School. What does Casey Means have? She doesn't even have an active medical license. She has a storefront in Amazon. She's selling a lot of her snake oil to a lot of other people. And when someone asked President Trump about it, he said, well, I asked Bobby RFK Jr., and he said she's terrific. Bobby doesn't know a peer-reviewed publication if one was to slap him in the face, because he's just a lawyer with a point. And she just happens to agree with this point. She happens to think all disease comes from insulin and the carb hypothesis, even though that's been disproven a number of times. Your Surgeon General nominee. We go from the giants in the field to someone who is essentially a grifter. And that's what's happening. God help us if we have another pandemic or public health crisis, and we're depending on a person who has no public health experience, doesn't see patients in clinical medicine, sells various supplements of no value at all to the world, and has not demonstrated